Feel the preciousness of yourself in this precious land, coming to do here precious work for yourself and also for the land. Because when you leave, the signature you leave here of your energetic consciousness is imprinted also on this land. Breathe. And invite the beings, the angels, the Lemurians, the Palladians, all the benevolent beings, the star mothers, all the extended galactic family that is here with you and supported you throughout these days and will support you beyond. Breathe. It's truly days of celebration and reunion of family that has no beginning and no end. And a family that can be everywhere. And when you have times that will come in your life, you could call them a challenging times and also a joyful times. You call upon them, the family, to be with you just as they are with you right now. In their state of being, they are everywhere. And you know you are too. You can be everywhere as well. You just tap into it through your heart, through your pineal, through a coherence that you create for yourself in the moment that you need it the most. You can do that for yourself everywhere you walk throughout your life. So anchor this moment deeper. Anchor this moment deeper into your being. And radiate to this entire group and beyond your love, your compassion, your peacefulness, your radiance and luminous light. Breathe. And go even more. Go into that space that is beyond what Kryon talked about, the wall. Don't just drink it, become it, emulate it. Feel into it, into that expansion, that vastness of all that is, that great, great soul of yours, in the oneness. Go beyond the wall and become it. Go deeper and connect even more. How does that feel to you right now? How does that feel to you right now? Recognize it and cognize it. For this is part of your true nature, your true beingness. beyond the physical, your soul. What is its purpose here? Let it tell you, let it whisper to you. What does it tell you now? What does it tell you now? It may be a feeling, not a word, a feeling. A feeling that you carry with you wherever you go. Breathe. Allow yourself to go even deeper, even deeper. Feel the joy that all creation has for you, for your journey on this earth, in this lifetime. No matter what you have gone through, seen, been, there is only joy and love and pure compassion for being here, for holding the energy wherever you go, in this great shift of this earth. Breathe. And let the energies and messages that are going to come now from the three that are on the stage, from Alcazar, from Adironnda, from Kryon, to be of celebration for you, for your journey, for your magnificence. Take them in with you. Take them in with you.
Beloved ones, we greet thee, 'tis Alcazar. And as always, it is a great honor to be with each and every one of you in this moment of your time. First, we would like to address the excitement that occurred here in this your morning, when you were looking up in the sky and thinking you were seeing a spacecraft. Beloveds, it was not a spacecraft. But whenever we work with the Stargate, there are always at least one of our craft above you, many of your miles above you. And not in your third dimensional reality either. For this gathering, there have actually been 3 of our craft above. They will continue to be with you. If you feel that you are seeing one of our craft, and you connect with us, And this can be done very easily at the top of your mountain. We will often respond, but we will respond in a way that is very obvious. We will move a little for you in a strange way. That normal movement does not happen here. So, let us focus on why we are here this moment. You have all come because there is a desire, a great desire within for change, for your life experience to become more beautiful, more wondrous. You have heard it is possible. You have heard others talking about changes that are happening for them, and you wish it for yourselves. Beloveds, there is no one way to create change. You are all unique. You all have a whole series of conditioning that is limiting you right now. But it has frequency. It is vibration. Everything is vibration. Even your scientists are very aware of this. Everything is vibration. Thought patterns are vibration. Habit patterns are vibration. There is a new way of evolving. But it requires a shift in your awareness, a shift in your understanding. Vibrational healing, it is often called. We call it simply moving back into balance. Dis-ease, habit patterns which are not serving you, they are all vibration. It is possible to balance with other frequencies, neutralizing the imbalance with other vibration. More and more, this vibrational balance, vibrational healing will be available on your earth. When you gather, as you have done these days, energies are coming to you. You are set in an energy field, a field of vibration. That is why so many people leaving these places feel good. Balance in the body, mind, balance in the emotions, because you have simply been in a vibrational field of oneness, of balance. And so throughout these days, frequencies have been here, vibrating you. Sometimes you feel it when it gets strong, but it is here all the time. Balance, oneness. As we say when we work with the Stargate, there is nothing to do. Simply relaxing into the energy fields. Even the words are not really necessary, but the words and the techniques are shared because it occupies the mind and it allows you to be in the field And then there is this potential. If you can relax, just by relaxing into these vibrations, change can occur. Not change that you decide with your mind, but change that if you simply allow, what is appropriate for you will simply start to rebalance itself. This goes against everything that you are taught in your societies. But slowly, slowly, that too is changing. We invite you to be open to the possibility, not to believe anything, but to be open to the possibility that now here on your earth, change can happen in this way. With your intention, with your loving yourself enough to set aside your ideas of how things are, to set aside the concept that this body is going to grow old, very likely get ill, and then you will leave it. Beloveds, can you set aside the concept of aging in the old way? Can you just allow yourself to be present now? Can you stop looking at your body and putting a number on it? Can you start to just visualize a youthful self? Very often, there are moments in your life when you feel youthful. There is a joy, an excitement, a freshness in the body. In those moments, say, thank you, bring me more of this. Say to your body, yes, this is how we can be all the time. Because when you do this, you are introducing a vibration. You have heard from Kryon. Your body listens to you. Can you allow for the possibility that your cells have consciousness? Can you allow for the possibility that your telomeres have consciousness? Everything is conscious within this body. Beloved ones, it is time. It is time to know yourself, not as you have been told. It is time for you to discover. Listen to some of the guidance that has been shared these days. Take it in. Allow for the possibility that it may be a truth for you. Allow for the possibility it may be the truth for you, because we would suggest it absolutely can. Your lives can change in a moment when you have, aha, wow, I can feel my truth in that. in these gatherings, every now and again, you have those aha moments. Wow. They are saying how I feel. Take note of those moments. They are the vibration of change for you. Those moments when you recognize, oh, I know that somehow. I didn't even know I knew it, but I resonate with that. Those are the moments to really notice. Those are the moments to say, yes, I know. It is not a knowing from the mind. It is a knowing from your beingness. That which we call your superconsciousness, the vastness that you truly are. Listen again and again to the recordings of the various channels. Tune into them. Pause in your life for a moment as you tune into them. Because if you can do this, those aha moments will become stronger and more frequent. It is beautiful that you travel, most of you, to come and be here. But allow yourself the joys of reliving and discovering even more of these aha moments. Beloved ones, it is always available to you. We love you and we bless you. We honor each and every one of you. We know you. It is time for you to know thyself. It is time for you to be free. It is time for you to live the way that deep, deep inside you know is possible. It is time to shed the illusion of the limitations that you think there are in your life. Beloved ones, it is time.
So it is good day to you, huh? So very good to see your light, your brightness, your radiant joy expanding. We give thanks to our dear friend Alcazar, who opens the energy of balance within you. We are honored by that. You see, we want to remind you that balance is so important in your body, in your cells, in your field. With that energy, with that vibration, we ask you, when you return to your homes, you return to your life with the ETs floating around in the air, that maybe water balloons or air balloons or someone playing a trick on you. But you see, it still comes down to that balance. So when you return home, we ask you to practice. See, we are very proactive. We ask you to practice your balance. Put the chair there so you can hold yourself just in case. Feel the center of your body and breathe into it. And then raise one foot off the ground. And then see how long you can hold that energy. And then do the other foot. And what we have found with that human form is that when you are balancing on one leg and you're looking all around and thinking, oh my goodness, how can I do this? It's only 2 seconds. How can I stand on the balance? Or what are we going to do? If you hold your focus on one spot in particular, that balance comes through you more easily as you breathe into that one focus. So that is what we are asking you to do. Focus your attention. Focus your intention of bringing that balance to your world. You are here in the shadow of this great mountain. You are here with the Lemurians, taking pictures of them. You are here amongst the telos. You are here in this energy. You are seeing what could be a ship, maybe not be a ship. Your imagination will go crazy. Yes? Because we want that confirmation. The soul wants that energy. But as you focus, you see that, it is fun to play. It is fun to be. It is fun to have that energy. It is fun to recharge your batteries in that capacity. Yes? And then what? And then what? You get to bring this back to your family. You get to bring this back to your energy. And know that you are here on planet Earth. You are here doing your job, living your life, being the unique, magnificent being of light that you are. And sometimes you get knocked off of that balance. Sometimes you get connected in and your imagination runs crazy and you start telling yourself stories about everything that you believe that everyone else is thinking or saying or doing or having. Stop it. Do not tell yourself stories. There is enough logical proof right here, right now, that there are ships above. They don't have to be seen. It is like electricity. Do you have to see electricity or do you see the results of it? You see, there's balance there. All those little miracles of technology forming together. And as they are forming together, they're affecting the electricity, Just in case you needed another confirmation as to what is happening, You see, if you are constantly looking for that confirmation for your own focus, if you're constantly looking outside of yourself, then you're focusing on the wrong thing. That confirmation is here, in your heart, in your truth, in your love, in your energy, in your glow of illumination. You know, we know that many people say, oh, you glow, oh, you glow, oh, you glow, oh, you glow. Glow on, Glow on, because you see, that vibration is a part of your balance. That vibration is a part of the harmony that you are indeed creating in the world. And sometimes your harmony gets shifted and you hold one foot in the air and you feel like you're going to fall over immediately. That is because your focus has been pulled off of your center. So you get the opportunity to find your center again. It is still there, you know. No one can take your center. You carry that harmony within you. You carry the source of all that is within you. How many times do you have to hear it before you believe it? You know, we want to bring new information, yes? Are you getting that yet? Thank you. For you see, that creates balance around the planet. That creates the safety energy for beings that have not been seen for maybe 27,000 years in a big way. To be seen once again. That creates the safe energy for others to be seen. It creates the safe energy for you to be seen. And for you to be seen, and for you to be seen, and for you to be seen. Because so many times you think that, oh, well, I'm afraid to be seen. I don't want to be seen, so I'll be invisible. Too late. You are not. You came here with a physical body, and now you're learning balance. Now you are learning harmony. Now you are learning to hold that vibration to such an extent that you are like the Buddha. You do not get thrown off your center. Would you like that? Take a deep breath. Can it be that simple? Yes. The only argument that comes is inside of here, or as you discovered last night, it may be in your little ego, So just remind that little ego how much it is loved and to be quiet. It is not the one that is in charge. Your heart is. For you see, that is the balance of the universe. That is the vibration of that which is to come. You know, you say you want confirmation. That is why if there's a speck in the sky, each of you have seen a ship, yes? Yes? Somewhere, each of you have seen, you may not be aware of it, but it is there. So in that capacity, you know, why would they come here if it is not safe? Why would they be seen if it is not safe? So can you make it safe? Yes. Because you said yes. Can you influence others? Yes. You are the light of this planet. You are the beings that are coming through in such a way that the energy of the air itself is harmonized. You feel it when us four connect with you, with the wondrous Elan and Alcazar and us and our council and Kryon. You are feeling that energy. Do you know that you do the same? You do the same, huh? Because of that divinity. No matter how you feel about yourself, the divinity is still there. Yes? It is just like with the sun. You cannot take the sun away. Even if there's a big cloud bank in front of it, you know the sun is still there. Yes? Just as you are. For you see, what focus are you holding? What focus are you connecting with? Are you connecting with the focus of, it's not what I expected? We know we did that with a vessel Marilyn last night in her little class. And those that are listening to this in the future do not know what that class was, but they should come next time, huh? But you see, we looked at a blank screen and we said, look into the future and describe what you see. And several people said, oh, I got nothing, I got nothing, I got nothing. Until they looked further. Oh, wait a second. It is white. Oh, there are big triangles on there. Oh, there is color there. Oh, there is a round thing there. You see, because you judge yourself so immediately, because you judge that energy so quickly, because your expectations are something less than your reality, you may not be open to the truth, to the love, to the balance of you. And that is all we are asking of you. To be there, to have that focus, to connect with those beings that are within you, to connect with that energy that is there. How can you not? Do you judge those that are around you? That is your reflection. So when you feel yourself having that, what do they call the knee jerk? We don't even know what that means. But it is a reaction that is trained. It is not your instinct. And if it is trained, you can retrain it. To say, I am that. I am. I am all things. And I am nothing. I am neutral. I am the sky. I am the ships. I am the earth. I am me. And that is magnificent. For you see, that knee-jerk response that you have to life is sometimes so trained within you that the other energy cannot come round about, that it pushes that aside. Yes? Are you ready to let that go once and for all? So we can move on to new topics? Huh? Take a deep breath. How does that feel, huh? We just took your jerking knees away, huh? What's possible? And intention is what? Everything. So it is our intention for you to be the master that you are. We believe when someone sneezes that you pay attention to what is being said because it is the truth. Thank you for that timely sneeze. It is the truth. You are the masters of this planet. You are the masters of this galaxy. So get out of your own way and be who you are. That is all we ask. It seems simple right now, doesn't it? It seems easy in this group of Lemurians here. Huh? It seems easy in this group of beings that are carrying the same light that you are. So what changes when you get back to your world? Nothing. You are correct. The only thing that may change is you bring in more light. And then what happens to those around you? They get caught by that light too. Yes? There are those of you that are saying, this does not sound like Adironnda. Who's there? You. That is who. You know when you tell yourself stories about all the things that you are not. Those are simply fairy tales. Not to put anything against the fairies, we love them. They are simply old stories of old programs that someone, somewhere along the line, you asked for. So, dearest beings of light, we ask you to ask for your own confirmation. And if you do not know how to ask for your own confirmation, take a deep breath and listen with your heart. Ashikino kamoka hisu numasianaka. Alika shonuma. Alikasia. Osha. 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 You are the light of this planet. The time is now for you to step into that light, with that light, no matter where you are or what you believe you are doing. You get the opportunity to harmonize your own balance. You get the opportunity to practice harmony in your world. And when something comes up like harmony, remember, you are love. 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 Dearest beings, you see, sometimes it takes a little shake-up of the energy to get it into the cells of your body. So you can indeed get over yourself. So you can indeed expand yourself. So you can indeed be that being of light that you are. As you return to your home, some of you just arrived, so you're finding your mountain feet. And if those that listen to this in the future have never been to the great mountain, why not? It is only the limiting thought that believes that you cannot. Because everything is possible. You have chosen to come to this planet at this time, to learn that. You volunteered to come to this planet to help the shift of this planet in a way that has never been done, ever. So remember, you cannot continue doing it like you did it a month ago, or 2 months ago, or 5 years ago, or yesterday, because it is all new now. Now you get to focus on exactly what is right before you. That is why we say, balance. That is why our dear friend Alcazar said, balance. Yes? To learn that focus on you will bring you every bit of harmony that is necessary. That focus on love will bring you that energy of love, because the universe will reflect back what you are asking for. So if on a subconscious level you are asking to be looked over, guess what? You'll be looked over. If on a subconscious level you are asking to not be looked over, guess what? You will not be looked over. But even if you're looked over, you're not invisible. Not any longer. So stop trying so hard to define yourself by your old stories. You know, those old stories are those tales. Those imaginary things that you created somewhere so you could survive until now, huh? But that is not your definition of you. That is you and the new paradigm of you. So are you ready to breathe into that new paradigm of you? Are you ready to stretch forward and walk out of here being the magnificence that you are? Are you ready to, if you're listening to this in the future and you're driving in your car, don't walk out of the car. Not until you park and turn it off and do all those rules, huh? You do get to live in a human body, yes? You may be from the future, yes? You may know what it is like to live on other planets, yes? However, right now, right here, you are on this planet Earth to assist in the shift, just as we all are. To shift, assist, and shift. Because the shift is going to happen anyway. The shift is happening. So, allow yourself to be free. Allow yourself to be you. Allow yourself to see the magnificence that is within you, and let those old stories go, and stop creating other people that are going to reinforce those old stories. You know you do that. And come back to that place of balance. Come back to that place of focus. Come back to that place of trust that the universe has your back. And so does the person sitting next to you. That is harmony. Allow that harmony to come through you. Because the only person, the only energy that can possibly stop it, we heard it already, is you. And why would you do that? So next time you hear yourself telling those old stories, oh, I'm not enough, I can't do that, I can't see, I can't do that, blah, 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 just turn to yourself and say, that's ridiculous. You are a part of the creator of this planet. There are no mistakes. You are not a mistake. Your humanness is not a mistake. You know, sometimes you think that it might be. It is not. We are honored that you chose to be here at this point in time. We are honored that in that energy, in that intention, in that focus, in that beautiful creation of this amazing planet, you are the way showers. You are the ones that are radiating so much harmony so much balance, so much light. As we have said it before, we need sunglasses to look at you. Huh? So in that focus, let those old stories go. Love them, honor them, breathe into them, and say, thank you for your lesson. Thank you for your teaching, old story. Thank you for teaching me that I can now go beyond that old story. Thank you for reminding me of who I have been in the past, old story. And thank you for now being still. So I can step into my present story, which is me and my own divine magnificence. For that is what I choose to radiate. I say that with the collective I. I am you. You are us. We are one together. You are the light. You are the love. You are the harmony of this existence. And for that we are so grateful. For your courage to do what you've had to do in the past to get to this moment. We are in love with you. We love you. We see you. We know your heart. And for that, you are grateful. Huh? We bid you namaste. Namaste.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. There are always those who would just be tuning in to this, and some have tuned in a random way. I speak of those who listen in the future. So I wish to set the stage yet again. Those before me sit in the shadow of the mountain called Shasta, a mountain that is sacred and has been for over 11,000 years for humans who cast their eyes upon it, who feel the energy of it, and who will not sometimes even climb it, because it speaks to them and they know there's something inside. We'll get there. This is channel number 4 of 5 that I will give in this meeting, one of several, in the shadow of the mountain. This shadow we speak of is very, very big. It's not a shadow, dear ones, that's linear. It's one that expresses itself in so many miles away from the actual mountain. It actually is a shadow that seeks out those who meet and who know that there is more to it than you think. This particular channel is an extension of the last one. And if you have come upon it again in a random fashion, that would tell you that there's one before it that we would tell you to listen to, because we're going to extend the energy of that and continue. My partner has put together all of these in order for you in what he has called his web. There is one channel before this that we just gave called the puzzle. And we're going to continue that story because there is so much more to talk about. But before we even do that, dear ones, this particular retreat features that which is multiple channels. Those who have dedicated their life to channeling, And they are here, and 3 of them sit before you. There are those who would ask that linear question, not understanding, channeling in general, and they'd ask the question, Kryon, aren't you a little bit apprehensive that perhaps the other channels might give conflicting information? And that comes from those who don't understand who sits here, or fully don't understand the paradigm that we are teaching. Did you hear how each channel closes, even today, with all of the messages they give, the tools that they present, the concepts and the perceptions that they will give you? Almost every single time they will close and they will tell you about the love of Spirit. Some will actually use the words, we love you, we love you, we love you. That is the symbiosis between all of the channels. They all have that, and that is the love of Spirit surges through them and their messages. And each one gives a different flavor, a different kind of message, because every single human being is unique. Every single human being has their flavors of what they respond to, of what triggers truth in them, of how they want to sit and listen. And therefore, the many channels that you hear will satisfy so many different kinds of flavors. That is how it works, dear ones, and that is why there are so many who will channel in these days. They are still asked, how can you determine that a channel is real instead of one who is simply channeling ego? And the answer always is this, is use that discernment of love that you have and look inside and listen. For all they will tell you is about your magnificence. And all they will tell you in all their verbiage is about how much God loves you. Use the term God, Spirit, creative source, all meaning that which is an overlaying energy that has created you as you sit here. Created you in that term we have said before, in His image. A human term, a scriptural term, if you wish. And that image is love. And there we are, back to love. We have said this so many times as we continue the theme of the puzzle. We have said this so many times. How do you explain love? How is it possible? First of all, you must understand that love is not linear. It simply is not. You know this as a human being. When you cast upon the infant, perhaps for the first time, mothers, that has come out of you. And when the infant opens its eyes and you look in his or her eyes, and you know what that feels like. I'll tell you, that feeling at that moment cannot be written down, explained, itemized, quantified. It's too big. The love of God is too big for you to put it on paper and list it. It's silly to think about it. It's as crazy as it would be to have two human beings side by side in the moonlight, and one turns to the other and says, for the first time, gazing into the other's eyes, I love you. And then the one turns back and looks and says, what do you mean by that? It doesn't happen. And yet, we sit here and say, God loves you infinitely, beyond measure, knows your name and your magnificence, made in the image of love, and you look back and say, what are the rules? And that is a continuation of that channel called the puzzle. The review is simple. Up to this point, we've talked to you about this puzzle, that humanity knows there's an afterlife, even through statistics of interviews. I said more than 80% of the planet believes in the afterlife, which says they understand there's more. And in the understanding that there's more, they have to then go to and are attracted to the teaching about what that might be. And therefore, most of the planet has some kind of belief systems, and that's what we talked about yesterday. The puzzle is often satisfied with minutia and linearity. Here is God, here are the rules, here's what to do. Here's how you speak to God, whether perhaps it's through prayer or through prayer and through an interloper who will speak for you. Here's what you do if you make a mistake. You've got to then correct the mistake, and so on and so forth. And it satisfies in a lower energy the puzzle. But last night we brought up that which is happening since 2012 and slightly before, that regular human beings, not those necessarily in this room, but regular human beings are starting to ask the question, is there more than I was told? We ended the channel with the idea that there is, and that many are going to that place and asking that question. But those who ask the question and are presented with answers are opening a door to another paradigm. And sometimes that's not comfortable. In fact, many times that's not comfortable. Because you have a linear parachute that you're not aware of. Here's how it goes. On your own, you have the idea in this new energy that there's more than you were told, and you start opening the door and examining that. Some would come to groups like this and study it. But almost all of the channels have told you the same thing, and that is, you must do this by yourself. Now, by yourself means that free choice of your consciousness is involved to put you through that new door of explanation, of examination, of new energy, of new paradigms. And once you get there, we've also told you that you're not alone. But it looks like you are. The parachute has always become the rules. The doctrine, the prophets, the books, they're all there for you to study, to find out what happens next, what do you do if. And yet when you walk through that door, it's like you step off into nothing. Dear ones, I know that. We all know that. All of the channels sitting in the chair before you know that. And that's what has all been about. What do you do next? What do you verbalize? How do you handle it? How do you change paradigms? What do you do? So we continue that. I would like to tell you how much we understand from our perspective on this side of the veil, what that might be like, because we've watched it. What happens to a human being who steps out of the paradigm of being a human being? In your history, it's so interesting to watch what has happened as a metaphor. As soon as you received powered flight, that wasn't that long ago. As soon as you had airplanes of any kind, of any nature, no matter how big or small or how frail or strong, there were those who would fly them who had the idea that said there has to be a way to escape if we need to. And that became the parachute. Now, in the early days, it was a complete mystery. You didn't have flight. Oh, you had high places like mountains, but not a straight down situation of thousands of feet. And so the experiments had never been tried how to escape from heights like that. Can you imagine what they went through in the testing? Throwing out big bags, heavy, connected to cloth, and all of these things, and many strings, in order to find out which ones would make it and which ones wouldn't. And how will you determine when a human being hits the ground at a certain speed, will it be all right or not? How big does the cloth have to be? And how will you arrange it so that it will open correctly? Because it can't open in the airplane. It's got to open with the wind somehow. And what happens if it doesn't open? Trial after trial after trial, and human beings throwing out bags and dummies and all of these things to find these things out. And finally, they hone it to an idea: this is going to work. Almost every single time it opens. But then there is that almost. There had to be a human being, dear ones, who did it first, who jumped out of an airplane with that cloth and those strings. What'd that feel like? Would you make it or not? Would your descent be too fast or not? Would there be wind or not? Would you land in a tree? What would happen? That feeling at that moment is how so many light workers feel when they step into the precipice of light. And there's no parachute, or at least not that they can see, and there's no rules. There's no prophet to save them in case they fail. And all they have is the knowledge that they have a loving God with a paradigm that has been so different than anything they've ever been taught. And we told you in closing last night not to worry about the minutia. And I'm going to talk about that. So that human being, that courageous human being, steps off the airplane, and lo and behold, that which they have tested and experimented with works. They hit the ground a little too hard. The next one will have more cloth, more strings, and you have the evolvement of the parachute. It even evolved to the fact that they knew they needed two in case the first one failed. And that became the spare. But that was all part of the inventions of the day. But still, today, there are those who have to step off for the first time, who have never done it. The same feeling. What I want to tell you that's interesting, and that is also a metaphor, is that parachutes were the same for decades and decades and decades and decades, until just recently, when someone came along and said, you know, what you're doing is falling through air, hoping things will open. What if instead you designed it like a wing? What if you used the air in a way that you understand because you understand flight? What if you could pull on the strings in a certain way and make this not a parachute but a glider of sorts? And it worked. Now there are those who are interested not even in jumping out of airplanes, but jumping off of mountaintops. Now you have those who can glide, who can even take advantage of the currents, actually lift and stay for hours. There are those who can land on a dime, as they say. They know exactly where they're going. They're using what they cannot see, the air, as a tool. And now they're gliding. That paradigm, which was so frightening to them, which they hoped would work, and they hoped they would not land in a tree, and they hoped the chute would open, has now been refined so they are in control of invisible things called the air. You see where I'm going. You see what I'm saying. It took time. It took experimenting. It took courage. But that's where the paradigm that we're speaking of, that you step into, is a little different than the metaphor we're giving you, because as soon as you step into that area, I would like to tell you, all that these channels have been talking about starts to come into play. Number one, God knows you opened the door. Spirit, Creator, knows you opened the door. Now that's a tough call, because when you open it, you don't see it. You don't have the parachute of the doctrine or the words. All you have is seemingly empty space. And this is where it gets good, because while you learn, we hold you up. And when you're afraid, we hold you up. And then the experimenting begins when you learn to fly. And the learning to fly is a word that means you start to understand that energy, which seems to be odd because there seems to be no support of doctrines and prophets and rules. But you also realize something else. You look backwards, and we've talked about that before. Looking down into old consciousness is easy. Looking up into a consciousness you've never experienced is not possible. But here you are, above all things, going through that door and experimenting with that which is invisible and finding the cords to pull and the tools to use. Healer, are you listening? To create something you didn't expect. And suddenly you look backwards and realize humanity is actually humanized God. God becomes the angry father, the one you have to please or you have punishment. And you realize how foolish and silly and what a children's version you have come from. And when you start to look up, all you see is love. That's what I want to talk about. When God says to you, I love you beyond measure, what's your response? Is your response to say, well, qualify that, please? Or will you take it at face value that there is a loving Creator that's going to work with you? There are so many things I could tell you right now about this issue, working with you. There are so many who said, well, I stepped out into that precipice. I'm having trouble with it. Dear ones, I would like to explain this generation of old souls and light workers. You are in a transition between bodies which have been literally programmed for decades to be a certain way, and suddenly you're in a place where you're starting to talk to them and they've never heard you before. Where you're trying to heal yourself on a daily basis and working with the affirmations with bodies that for generations of humanity and instinct past have never heard you before. It's almost like there's a programming and a patterning inside most of you that won't respond instantly. And I have not really said that in these ways before. The body wants to listen. And that's why we say, you better do this daily. Because it's not used to it. And some of you will get partial results and not full results. And that's why. It's hard to take corporeal history of decades in an old energy and instantly change it. But consciousness is still the answer, and it will respond. The reason is because it's constantly rejuvenating. And so as the new cells rejuvenate and come online, they start to hear you speaking. How long does it take for a human to rejuvenate everything, including skin and all? It may take longer than you think. And even they have to be trained. This is different. You are on the cusp of new things. But I'll tell you this, that when you come back, and you are coming back, This is going to be ingrained in you. You will start this as soon as you awaken and know to do it. And that's the difference between the old soul of today and the new one that you will become. The practice you are doing now, the work that you are doing now, is ingrained in your very Akashic record. And when you awaken next time, an evolvement takes place where you're going to remember it and continuing it, where you'll not make the same mistakes again, and where you will awaken new and fresh, ready to go and live a lot longer than you will now. That's part of breaking through that old into that new. Kryon, I'm still having trouble. Yes, you are. I know that. It's hard to leap out of that airplane. It really is. And so there'll be partial leaps. And what I mean by that is you'll cling to the old and try the new. We see that. We understand that. There's no right or wrong in the way you decide how much courage you might have and how far you want to go and whether you really want to let go or not. And that is who you are because you're absolutely unique. But I'm going to tell you this, it's a promise. For those of you who want to take the story I gave you early on, a parable called The Missing Bridge, if you want to take that to heart, you'll understand that the leaping is the best thing you can do all at once. And that is where you say to yourself, all that I may have ever learned or understand about anything on this planet, I will suspend. Anything. What my parents said, what my pastor said, my priest said, my rabbi said, any of these, I'm going to suspend it all. I can go back to it if I wish, but right now, I'm suspending it. And I'm saying, dear Spirit, is it true? Is there more? And I want to tell you, if you are courageous to do that and raise your hand, it's like an antenna. It's an antenna, and that antenna is not going to be struck by lightning. What's going to happen is that hand, which becomes an antenna, is going to have another hand which takes it and starts to pull you out of the mire of an old energy of worry and victimization and dishealth, and start slowly pulling you into an area you don't understand, but that hand is going to hold you while you get used to it. A paradigm you don't know about, seemingly like thin air. And that hand is going to hold you until some time, like the bird throwing the kids out of the nest, where you'll fly by yourself. And that is when miracles start to happen. Are you able right now to say, I've got a problem I know about in the future. Something's there. I know it's going to have to be solved somehow. And I wring my hands at night and I think about it and I'm anxious and it really changes how I sleep or how I eat. Every single one, perhaps listening or in the room, has experienced that or maybe is right now. Anxiety about the future. Let me ask you, what if, right now, you could say, I'm not going to worry about it because, you see, it's going to solve itself. That's the story of The Missing Bridge. You might want to go and read it or listen to it. It's available. And that is the one that suspends all of the worry about the future because they count on a solution that they don't understand and can't figure out for themselves happening in a time they don't understand either. And that's why when you tell somebody what you believe and they are linear, somebody you meet on the street, well, how do you work your life? Well, I don't worry about it because it takes care of itself. And they label you right away as the ones that wear the little tinfoil hats and believe in spaceships above you. And they walk away. And again, another channel. They're too smart to look. They know better. In linearity, they know better. And if they stay in linearity, they're right. But if there's more to it than that, that's what you've discovered. There is. So what's this channel really about? Again, we love you. That's what the channel's about. What could you say about this eternal God that you believe in? Or about the puzzle of there must be something different and something more than just what you see? And if you could say, what is it that you know about that's interestingly almost every organized religion on the planet also agrees with you about? What is it? What's the common denominator of everything that everyone speaks of? And the answer is the incredible love of God. It mends doctrines that then take it to other places, but I'm talking about the core. Interesting, is it not, that the first organized religion on the planet had no prophet at all? The Hindu, oneness with all. Oneness, probably as close to the truth. And then from then on, humans did what they did, and I've told you, and you know. But the love is what is the common denominator, something that cannot be explained. And so that's why I encourage you to take the leap of faith in any way that you wish, in any stage that you wish, that's comfortable for you. Open the door slowly if you wish, all at once if you wish. But know this, there really is something more than you've been told. There really is. And humanity is discovering it slowly. You're starting to see it. One of the largest religions of the planet has its churches now starting to become darker. Closing the doors, they become museums. No one's going anymore. Things are starting to happen that were never expected as humans start to turn away from the linear punishment idea and go to that which is only pure love. And they look for where to go and what to do. And I hope you've tuned into this channel, dear ones, where I can say all you have to do is to understand there's more and understand that God knows your name. We're going to close now. And I'm going to ask you to repeat something. I seldom do this. Repeat, God knows my name.
God knows my name.
What does that mean to you? What could it? Now, I told you I would get back to this. All the entities in the shadow of the mountain know your name. Anyone who's watching right now in this meeting knows your name. That is significant into what's next. And that is the invisible precipice that is the support and the parachute for the old soul and the light worker who wishes to go to the next step. I'll say what every channel has said on this dais. We love you. And I am Kryon, in love with humanity. And the reason we're here is to pass this love and the idea and the concepts and the perceptions of a loving God more than you know. And so it is.